Having trouble losing that stubborn belly fat? You may be eating right, exercising, cutting the carbs, maybe even skipping dessert. Yet the scale hasn't moved in weeks. It's frustrating. If that describes you, then you will be glad you watched this video. But the problem might not be you. It could be cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, and until you bring it under control, losing body fat will be very difficult. So today we're breaking down why cortisol, the very hormone designed to protect you, can secretly sabotage your metabolism, break down your muscles, and even cause joint pain. I'll also share the best ways to test your cortisol levels, how to reset your daily cortisol rhythm, and the steps you can take starting today to get your fat loss engine moving again. So, what is cortisol? Cortisol is produced by your adrenal glands, two small triangular powerhouses that sit right above your kidneys. In normal amounts, cortisol is essential for life. It helps regulate your blood sugar, control inflammation, and even mobilize energy during stressful situations. The problem comes when stress isn't temporary. Your body is built for short-term bursts of cortisol, which helps to release more blood sugar so you have extra energy to run away from danger. This is known as the fight or flight response. But the stress of modern life keeps the stress switch stuck in the on position. The end result? Chronically elevated cortisol that keeps your body stuck in fat storage mode. What are the signs of elevated cortisol and how does high cortisol levels keep you from losing fat? First of all, elevated cortisol increases belly fat storage. How? High cortisol raises your blood sugar, which spikes insulin. Then elevated insulin tells your body to store fat for future energy, especially around your waist, face, and back. Also, chronic elevated cortisol levels breaks down muscle, leading to muscle weakness, especially in the thighs and glutes. Cortisol pulls amino acids from your muscles to use for energy, and it tends to target large muscle groups like your thighs and buttocks. Over time, this muscle loss slows your metabolism and removes vital support for your knees, making them more vulnerable to injury and chronic pain. Other signs of high cortisol levels include cravings for sugar and fat. Ever notice you want cookies or chips when you're stressed? That's cortisol pushing you toward quick fuel. Another sign of high cortisol is being moody, anxious, irritable. So yes, other hormones besides the sex hormones can make you cranky. And finally, what about poor sleep? Cortisol follows a circadian rhythm. It's lowest around 2 a.m., rises toward morning, and peaks at about 8 a.m. But when it's elevated at night, it can wake you up around 2 to 3 a.m., wired, restless, and unable to get back to sleep. All of these are clues that your cortisol is too high. So, how can you test your cortisol levels? Here's a common mistake: testing your cortisol with a one-time blood test. Cortisol naturally changes throughout the day in a wave pattern, so you would need several blood tests during the day to learn about your full cortisol pattern. So, what is a better option? You can do saliva testing. You collect samples of your saliva at several points during the day to see your full rhythm. Another way is hair testing. This method gives a picture of your average cortisol over the past few months. These tests check your biological clock and see if your cortisol spikes at night, stays elevated all day, or has crashed from long-term stress. So, if you have high cortisol, how can you fix it? First of all, get proper sleep. Prioritize deep restorative sleep. That is when your body repairs itself. Aim for 7 to 9 hours nightly. This means you may have to start going to bed earlier. Keep a consistent bedtime schedule and avoid TV or computer screens at least 60 minutes before sleep. Check out our video on tips for better sleep. And then, manage your daily stress, not just by going on a vacation, but by lowering your cortisol doing daily meditation, slow breathing, journaling, or simply taking a short walk outdoors. All will lower your cortisol. Even doing only 10-15 minutes of these stress relief methods will lower your cortisol. We have a great video on managing stress. Next up is to train smart, not just hard. Mix it up. Overtraining keeps cortisol high. So mix strength training with gentler activities like yoga, stretching, light cycling, or walking to lower cortisol levels. Next thing to do is eat to stabilize your blood sugar. Every meal should have some protein, healthy fat, and fiber to prevent spikes and crashes that stress your adrenal glands. And then you need to limit stimulants. Too much caffeine, especially on an empty stomach, can keep cortisol elevated. Next up is to support recovery with herbal adaptogens. Herbs like ashwagandha, rhodiola, and holy basil have been shown in studies to help regulate cortisol. And finally, protect your lower body muscles. Add resistance training for your thighs and glutes, squats, bridges, and lunges to maintain muscle mass, protect your knees, and keep your metabolism active. Remember, fat loss isn't just about calories, it's about hormones. By restoring your cortisol rhythm, protecting your muscles, and reducing stress, you're setting yourself up for better results, stronger joints, and more energy. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who's stuck on their fat loss journey. And let me know in the comments, have you ever tested your cortisol levels? And remember our health motto: to be healthy, we must think well, eat well, and move well. So until next time, take care.